we are talking about limits and boundaries. So, let me make sure you guys can hear me. I think you can. And I forgot to open up my Facebook page so I could see your comments. Guys, if you go over to HAPS and you sign in, you download the HAPS app, you subscribe to get notified when I get live. And then, you can join me on HAPS. I'll see your name, I'll see your comments. So it's haps.tv. And I think, that will help a lot with conversation. And hopefully, you enjoy the app. It allows me to broadcast all over the place. So let me open up Pumped Up Parenting and see your comments. And if you're watching me live on Facebook and you're in Celia Kibler, I may not see your name. So if you're on Facebook, please do me a favor and actually, tell me who you are. Also, if you're on the replay, welcome as well. And answer any questions, give me comments, whatever is going on with you. Would love to hear from you. Give me a hashtag after party, and live viewers excited for you to be here as well. So we're going to talk about limits and routines today. Wrong. We're going to talk about limits and boundaries today. Super important. Good morning, Czar. Super important for your children. Okay. But before we get started, let me tell you who I am. I'm Celia Kibler. I'm a family empowerment coach and an author of Raising Happy Toddlers, How to Build Great Parenting Skills and Stop Yelling at Your Kids, as well as 3 great children's books. I am grateful, all about me, and being different is fun. And you can find all those books on celiasbooks.com. I'm also a mommy to 5 children. 2 I gave birth to, 3 I gained through marriage, and I'm a grandma to 9, one of which is celebrating her birthday today. Miss Stella is 1 year old. And what else? I've been coaching parents and teachers for over 40 years. I'm on a mission to stop 1 million parents from yelling at their kids. So let's stop that. Let's start creating childhoods that everyone can blossom from. Okay? But let's get started with limits and boundaries because it is a confusion point for parents and it is a really important part of raising your children. First of all, if you set limits and boundaries, number one, it does not mean you're mean. It doesn't mean you're a mean person if you set limits and boundaries. In fact, it means the complete opposite. Yes, your children may say, oh, you're being mean, but it doesn't mean you're being mean. You're doing so much good for them that if they didn't have limits and boundaries in place, that would be more destructive to them than having them in place. They don't know that right now. They may not know that right now, but as they grow up, they will absolutely know that. And what's the tagline for Pumped Up Parenting? Because we are raising adults, not children. Okay. So let's talk about 10 reasons you need to have limits and routines in place and what you really need to do to get them there. Number 1, let's face it, guys, we all have limits. I keep saying routines, limits and boundaries. We all have limits and boundaries. Yes, so important. You are so welcome. And I don't know who you are, so give me your name, please. We all have limits and boundaries. Let's face it, we cannot go out and rob a bank. If we do go out and rob a bank, we go to jail. We cannot just go take our car and crash it into a million places. We go to jail or we kill somebody or even ourselves. We all have limits and boundaries that we have to follow in this world as humans. Limits and boundaries show your children you love them. If you ever see a child who has no limits, no boundaries, they're allowed to roam the streets, stay out late, even if they're like 8 years old, and you were to go up and ask them, how come you're out so late? They will say, because nobody cares. And the reality is nobody cares. If you don't set up limits and boundaries for your children, it is directly showing them that nobody cares. And I think you care more about your children and you would like them to know that you actually care and love them. Because remember, no limits and boundaries, or I should say, putting limits and boundaries in place does not make you a mean parent. Does not at all make you a mean parent. Okay. Let's sorry, I was checking something. Let's talk about the next issue. Without them, there is chaos. So, what I mean by that is if a child lives without limits and boundaries, they're allowed to do whatever they want to do. Your house is in chaos. If they're allowed to throw things, paint things, do whatever, draw on walls, draw on your house. I have a kids fitness company. I did a birthday party once for a person. I went to their house and their house literally had spray paint on it. And they told me it was from their child getting hold of a spray paint can. And I thought, well, that must have been, by accident. But then when I went in the house, there's crayons and paint and everything all over that house. People say to me, well, I can't stop my child from coloring on the walls. Yes, you can. You can say, we only color in this book. We don't color on furniture. We don't color on the walls. Boundaries, limits. We only throw a ball outside. We don't throw it inside. They are so important when raising your child. Limits and boundaries also help your child reduce their stress and their anxiety. So if you have an anxious child, or say you have a child with ADD or ADHD, limits and boundaries are super important for those children. It helps them direct their day. It helps them stay on task. Without knowing what's coming next or without knowing, your boundary of what you can do, you can make a child very anxious and stress them out. Okay. It will also help give kids independence. Because you know what? They know that, okay, for this, I can do this. They don't have I'm so glad you needed this so much, and I don't know who you are, so tell me who you are. Are you watching? Where are you watching? What group? So please tell me who you are. It helps them be independent because when a child knows what the boundary is, they know how far they can go. They're not constantly testing limits. Children will automatically test limits all the time. That's part of growing up. That's part of getting to know the world and becoming independent. But when they have limits and they know just as far as they can go, it helps them feel secure. It gives them confidence. It gives them independence and it teaches them self-discipline. When your children go to school, they're not allowed to just run rampant through the school. They're not like, oh, go pick a class, just get in any class. No, there are boundaries and limits. We're in this class now, and then we're going to this class. This is our teacher. We're not playing outside right now. It is not time for recess. Limits and boundaries. It helps them to understand their day, stay more in control of themselves, regulate their own behavior, teach them more about like even conflict resolution. Should I do this? Should I not do this? Mom says, I can't do this in the house. I can't throw a ball in the house. What if I do? What's going to happen? And that's when it's your job to have a consequence set up to keep consistent with your limits and boundaries. You can't let them throw a ball in the house sometimes if you're not letting them throw a ball in the house at all. Because once you go past that limit or boundary that you put into place, you give your child permission to also go past it. Consistency is key. You will help your child make healthy choices. You will help them grow and feel more confident and independent. You will help them to actually be more self-disciplined and learn how to regulate emotions and feelings and regulate their need to test those limits. It all goes hand in hand with raising a confident, self-sufficient, independent adult. It starts with you as a parent putting those limits and boundaries in place. Now, before we end this broadcast, if you have any questions, please feel free to give them to me. Put them in the comments and I'll answer them. But I also want to let you know about something that's being released later today. If your summer is usually like insane, there are no limits and boundaries. There's nothing. The kids are just running rampant all day, or maybe they're just on their video games all day long. Oh, you're watching on my personal page, I think, and they Nick. Good to see you, Nick. And I'm glad it's helping. So if you think you're a little concerned about now that school's over or school's almost over, will your child get on that video game in the morning and not get off until it's bedtime? Are you worried about, how do I put a summer schedule in place? Do I put a summer schedule in place? What's the benefit of having a summer schedule? How do I create these limits and boundaries? I've created a special package just for you. And it is the Summer Sanity Pack so that you don't go insane over the summer because your stress, your chaos, your children feel every bit of that. And if you're stressed out and you feel in a state of chaos, they will too. And we'll be releasing that Summer Sanity Pack very soon. Look for it in Pumped Up Parenting on Facebook. Look for it in certain groups like the Tranquility Tribe and the Peaceful Parenting Challenge. Look for it all over Facebook and on Instagram. It is a specially priced package. It will give you a training on number one, summer schedules, setting them up, and why you do need them. And yes, in case you weren't sure, yes, you should have them. The gaming training video. That's a 2-part video. And it talks all about what you need to know about video games and how you create video gaming for your child on your time, not their time. The sleep training, all about how you and your children can get the best sleep. I'm a sleep coach, and I created this 2-video training package so that you get good sleep. And the second is how to approach most of the common sleep issues that affect children and what to do to get them out of that issue. You're so welcome, Nick. And you can get all of that, those 3 trainings, so that your summer is on the right path now instead of losing it and going totally insane a month from now. You get the whole thing for $47. And that's it. One payment, $47, gets you the 3 trainings that you need. And as a special bonus, if you want to keep sanity throughout your whole family, my Peaceful Parenting Academy that I charge $1,500 for, you can get it for an extra $30. So for just $77 one-time payment, you can get the whole shebang. You can get the Peaceful Parenting Academy, which has about 50 videos that you can watch at home, work out how to really create peaceful parenting, plus summer schedules, video gaming, and sleep. Everything you need to create a happy home for just $77. Or don't go with the Peaceful Parenting Academy and get the first 3 for $47. It's going to be released today, and it is only available for a limited time. This will not be available all the time. You only got a few days to get it, and then it's gone. So if you want direct information on it, you can put a hashtag me. Otherwise, it will be posted in our group. This is not something that's going out to the whole world. I'm not running Facebook ads on it, but it is available to you guys starting today for a very limited time. So that's what I wanted to tell you about. Hashtag me if you need Czar to reach out to you and give you the link so you can get that package. Let me tell you, it'll be the best money you ever spend, and your summer and the rest of your parenting will go so much smoother. Everything you need to know. All right, guys. So thank you for joining me. As always, I wish you days filled with peace, love, tons of laughter, guys. You got to laugh. Put those limits and those boundaries in place. And if you don't know how to do it, get some help. Reach out to me, reach out to someone, but get help to put those limits and boundaries in place. It is a blessing to your children and a blessing to you. All right, guys, I'll see you here Thursday at 10 a.m. and around the web. Bye, everybody.